Hello, I'm John Cunningham. Welcome to the RedChip Money Report. For those of you new to the show, RedChip is an investor relations, media, and research firm focused on emerging growth companies. Our unique platform combines a global multimedia platform with traditional investor relations, reaching a global audience of investors. Today on the show, you'll see interviews with executives of 3 public companies positioned for big upside. First, Sorrento Therapeutics, stock symbol SRNE on the NASDAQ. Sorrento is a clinical stage antibody-centric biopharma developing new therapies to turn malignant cancers into manageable and possibly curable diseases. Then up second is MamaMancini's Holdings, stock symbol MMMB on the OTCQB. MamaMancini's is a marketer and distributor of a growing line of mostly Italian pre-prepared food items. Their products are available at leading grocers nationwide. Growth has been in the double digits, and further expansion is on the way. Learn more when we speak with the CEO. And third and final company you'll meet is Immuron, stock symbol IMRN on the NASDAQ. Immuron is an Australian-based biopharma focused on developing innovative immunotherapies using widely applicable dairy-derived antibiotics. Later, you'll learn about the versatile technology platform and their development pipeline. Now, our quote of the week, and it comes from Michael Corbett, owner of Parrot Capital Management. The quote, "Once you've done your homework and chosen to invest in a company, be patient, give it time to work. I give my investments 3 years to work." This quote comes from Chapter 2 of Small Stocks, Big Money, a book by Dave Gentry, CEO of RedChip Companies. Order your copy today from Amazon or right at redchip.com. Now, our first interview today is with Dr. Henry G. of Sorrento Therapeutics. He's the chairman, president, and CEO. Let's go to the interview.
Henry, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Well, it's my pleasure. I want to talk today first about your company. Precisely, what does Sorrento Therapeutics do?
We are antibody-centric biopharmaceutical developer for cancer indication and autoimmune diseases.
Talk to us a little bit about some of your development relationships, some of your collaborations, and what we're going to talk about here in just a moment, which is your CAR-T technology.
Yes. So we have a collaboration with Karolinska Institute with our CAR-T programs and ADC programs with targeting the multiple myeloma. We also have formed a company, contributed some of our assets into a company called Cellularity. That companies have other contributions from Celgene, United Therapeutics, and Human Longevity. That company recently raised money, and our valuation in that company alone is about over $100 million, and with our 25% equity ownership in it. And that company has multiple products FDA approved and multiple products in the phase 2 development stage. So that's very cutting edge cell therapy company.
What is CAR-T? That's a very important technology today. What is it?
So the CAR-T combines the CAR with the T cell. The CAR stands for chimeric antigen receptor. The part of them is the antibody outside the cell targeting the target, and the inside of the CAR is the activating domains that activate the T cell. When you have the CAR into the T cell, when the CAR T cells meet with the cancer cell, they've been activated, and the CAR T cell can kill the cancer cells very effectively.
I want to talk about the value proposition and why investors should own the stock today. I will mention that a major investment bank in the small cap arena, Rodman & Renshaw, has a $20 target price. I also will mention that some of your competitors in the CAR-T space using the same technology to target cancers, such as Juno, is a $5 billion market cap. Kite is a $12 billion market cap. Bluebird, I believe, is about a $9 billion market cap. I want to talk about your value proposition, how you differ or how you're similar to these companies.
Yes. So the Juno and the Novartis are the pioneer in the CAR-T space, which is just the beginning of a revolution technology in the biopharmaceutical space, because the CAR-T is so effective, potentially could be curative for treating the cancer. So the Juno has about 18 patient data on their CD19 CAR-T product, and the market cap is about $5 billion. And the Kite have about, before they got FDA approved, they've been sold to, acquired by Gilead for $11.9 billion for the same type of a CAR, which is CD19 CAR T. And you have a Bluebird targeting another target, which is BCMA for multiple myeloma. Of course, multiple myeloma is way bigger than the leukemia or lymphoma. That's why when they have announced about 18 patient data for their BCMA CAR T program, their market cap reached around $9 billion. There is another company called GenScript Legend. They recently had a deal with Janssen. Upfront is $350 million. About a half years ago, they announced the BCMA CAR T data for a couple of dozen patients. And that company, last September, which is September of 2017, with a market cap around $500 to $700 million. As of today, they are $6 billion. So when you have a positive data from a CAR T, your valuation could be appreciated very rapidly. We're right now, Sorrento, focusing on the next frontier CAR T, which is a CD38 CAR T. We believe this is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, CAR T therapy in the space. The CD38 targets the multiple myeloma and some other very big indication. We are the leaders in this space, in the CD38 CAR T. And we are going to be IND filed first quarter and potentially get into human first half of this year. And if we somehow have a positive readout of CAR T, CD38 CAR T data in the multiple myeloma indication, second half of this year, we're talking about we're going to be at the same league as the journal Bluebird, the Kite.
And I'll note that there are multiple analysts covering your company that agree with you, and I'll show you on the screen there for our viewers some of the companies covering your company and the target prices. So first half of this year, you're in a phase 1B, phase 2,
yes.
1B2 a trial for the same indications as you said, Bluebird, is that correct?
Yes.
And that, again, that market cap, to be clear, I think is about
$9 billion.
$9 billion. And
yes.
you're $300 million.
We are currently around $400 million right now.
400 stock has been moving up, you're right.
Yes.
It's about 400 million. Investors want to know that you're well funded, so let's talk about your capital needs and where you are in terms of funding.
We just recently raised the $50 million convertible bond, and we have about burning $5 to $6 million a month. So at this moment, we're well covered, and we believe that with good programs, we will be potentially getting a non-dilutive cash from a corporate license or corporate sponsorship or collaboration with a corporation. So we believe we're positioned really well in this space.
Well, actually, for 2017, we're trailing about almost 130 million in revenue, correct?
So that $130 million revenue, majority of them is through accounting that with our contribution into joint venture called Cellularity. That Cellularity is contributed with asset from Sorrento, with asset from Celgene, Cell Therapy, and United Therapeutics, and Immuron Ltd. And we are the largest shareholders of Cellularity, owns about 25% of the company. And the company raised the money, and the last round of valuation gave us about $125 million equity in that company alone at this stage.
And Henry, you also have some other programs in various stages of development. You have a non-opioid pain management program. Talk to us about the status of this program and any upcoming milestones.
So we have a lidocaine topical system, which is the ZT-Lido. We finished all clinical trials, all the CMC work per FDA requirement. We submit the NDA to the FDA last year. So that means less than 2 months, we will get the words from the FDA, whether we get the drug approved or not. If we get the drug approved, could be potentially very significant revenue generator for the company, as this compound targeting a market in around $800 to $1 billion market opportunity, and we are positioning our company as a best in class for this product line.
Now, I want to talk about some of the key players on your team, both from a leadership perspective as well as from a development perspective.
Yes, we actually assembled a very experienced, seasoned teams in clinical development. That including Jerry Zilda, Dr. Zudas is formerly a CMO from Chief Medical Officer from Celgene. He was the first MD get into hired by Celgene, and he grew with the company from a $100 million company to all the way to a $100 billion company. And he retired 2016, and he joined us the same year, and because he believed our pipeline is very robust. And together with Jerry, we also have Ken Takashita and Bob Knight, also from Celgene. They join us. They are the expert in the multiple myeloma clinical development. 3 of them responsible or participate in product approved development for about the $10 or $11 billion product get approved and with revenue on the market. So we have very seasoned team. We also have Mark Brunswick as our head of regulatory. He's formerly examiner in the FDA for 9 years and is very experienced. We have Steve Kay. He's our pharmacovigilance and clinical operation guy, and he's the head of pharmacovigilance for Mesoblast, Australian company in the cell therapy side.
Excellent. Henry, again, in summary, why should investors take an interest in your stock today?
Yes, I think the value proposition for us is that we are in the cutting edge of the CAR-T therapy development, and we are not far away. We're the leaders in the CD38 CAR-T for very big market, which is multiple myeloma. If this drug works, we should be in the same league as Bluebird and Juno or Kite, and that will increase the value potentially to a $5–10 billion or beyond. Currently, we're about a $400 million. I think there is a huge discount here on the valuation side.
Very good. I would have to agree with you. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Now, to get more information about Sorrento Therapeutics, visit RedChip.com. While you're there, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. You'll get updates about emerging growth companies. Also on the website, there's research reports, fact sheets, press releases, and much more. It's all free. Sign up today. Now, our second interview today is with Carl Wolf of MamaMancini's. He's the chairman and CEO. Let's go to that interview. Carl, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, Carl, you've been experiencing strong growth in sales and in profits this year. Before we get into the details, let's start the interview with a brief overview of your business.
Sure. We make fresh, prepared foods, all natural, very high quality tasting products. We sell in what we call the perimeter of the supermarket, which is takeout foods, which is growing about 8% per year in the last several years. We did sell in the center of the store, but pretty much have vacated that. Packaged goods sector is decreasing about 1% to 2% a year. Our product line consists of Italian foods, a variety of regular meatballs, stuffed meatballs, cocktail meatballs, and especially products such as antibiotic-free. We'll be introducing non-GMO meatballs. All of our product comes in the sauce. In addition to that, we make turkey and beef meatloaf. We make chicken parmesan, we make stuffed pepper mix, and we'll be introducing ravioli lasagna in the next month or so. So we have 5 major product lines. 3 years ago, we only sold meatballs. Now meatballs are around 40% of our business.
Carl, what's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take an interest in your stock today?
Well, as the food industry is changing dramatically, the large packaged food companies realize that business is going to the perimeter of the store. So they're making acquisitions, and the value of our very rapidly growing sector is much higher than traditional products. And the larger companies hope to continue to grow that, and they realize that their internal development hasn't worked. Their cost of capital is low. So just this past week, there were 3 acquisitions announced. 2 were about 20 times EBITDA. 1 was 30 times EBITDA. Industry studies, the chief person who puts that together is Koenig Associates. They show that the average valuation for acquisitions is about 17 times for public companies. Now that's higher. And actually stocks that are trading are running about 23 times EBITDA. So the value proposition is we're growing around 60% year over year. The typical company's growing in that sector around 15%. Our EBITDA margins will move up to about 20% or higher. And so we're a very, very profitable company if we can continue to keep growing.
Now, Carl, you report sales net of slotting fees and discounts. For our viewers that might not be familiar with that, can you talk to us about what that means and give us some insight into your marketing? How exactly do you reach consumers with your brand?
Okay, so the slotting fees or discounts are where someone may take some large chains take a 1% cash allowance. They pay us within 10 days or something. So that's discounts. The other part is slotting fees, which is at this point very minimal. In most cases, we don't pay any slotting fees. As you can see on our financial statements, that segment is running around 0.4% of sales. As far as marketing, we have several variables where we think we've been effective. Years ago, we advertised on Sirius very heavily. Now we advertise on flights. We'll be advertising actually Christmas week and the first week of January. We'll be doing over 1,000 commercials a week. Nationally, on about 15 channels. Sirius hits around 60 million people cumulatively. They're the right consumers for us, people on the go. They're in their cars. It's where Sirius hits. In addition to, and we'll be doing that several times this year. In addition to that, we're on QVC regularly up to 6 times per month. Dan Mancini, who is our co-founder and our spokesperson, basically is on from 8 to 12 minutes each time, which in essence is an infomercial. We just were on QVC Sunday, and we were one of the highest performers on the food show that lasted 3 hours. There were approximately 40, 50 presenters on that show. We were one of the highest. So QVC hits around, our estimate, around 30 million people. They're the world's largest direct-to-consumer marketers. In addition to that, we have a very active Facebook campaign, and we'll do posts, and we can geo-target the post. So as an example, we sell the Fresh Market, and they've just introduced our meatloaf, and we can geo-target where we do demos or special events 5 miles around that particular store. But a general post will do around up to 1 million impressions, which is pretty attractive. And in addition to that, we do consumer PR and placement, such as Martha Stewart, Fox and Friends, BuzzFeed. We've been Inc. magazine. So it's been an extremely effective campaign. I think we figured we hit over 200 million impressions this past year on consumer PR. Plus, we do point of purchase, a lot of point of purchase, and a lot of word of mouth. The deli clerks are very, very important, and we often will give them coupons to have them try the product.
Carl, you mentioned Fresh Markets. What are some of the other grocers that you work with, and how big is the market opportunity?
Okay. We sell, as you know, Fresh Market. We sell Whole Foods. We sell Sam's Club, Costco, Publix, Ahold, which is Stop and Shop and Giant stores, Jewel. We sell on a limited basis Albertsons and Safeway. We hope to expand that. Same thing with Kroger's. We expect new business with H-E-B. And then in each of these people we sell of our 5 product lines, we typically sell 1 or 2, and therefore there's a tremendous goal of expanding that from the 1 or 2 to other areas. The total market size, though, is probably a lot bigger than we believe, because when you take all those items, growing in 30% of all supermarkets right now, and you add that all together, you're talking about a multi-$100 million business. And then you have to add food service. You have to add convenience stores, which is a very big business, several 100,000 convenience stores, and they now all serve fresh food. And you add export, you add industrial. Everybody loves Italian product, even if you're Dubai. So, and then we can expand the new products. As an example, we're going into limited test on sauces in jars, and we'll be also going to very limited distribution on vegetarian meatballs. And last but not least, for the organic trade, we have non-GMO meatballs. So we have a lot more, but there's also pasta dishes coming and so forth. So when you take the whole Italian line and add it together, sausage and peppers coming, you really are talking about a several $100 million business, all earning about 20% EBITDA.
And what major milestones can investors anticipate over the next 6 to 12 months?
Well, our goal right now, we have given guidance that we hope to get to around 40 million in sales from last year, 18 million, and a run rate of 22 million last quarter in the next several months. At that point, we believe we'll hit an EBITDA of around 6 million. And then the goal is that by the summer, we'll be at least a 50 million run rate and an EBITDA of at least 8 million, possibly more. In addition to that, later this year, we're in about 30% of all supermarkets right now, and many of them of our 5 lines have 1 or 2. So as we grow, we hope to get them to 3, 4, and 5. So we think that 50 million could very easily go to 80 million as a base, and then we're only in 30% of supermarkets. As we expand our supermarkets, we very easily could see that at $150 million in sales in the supermarket and club store base. In addition to that, we have no penetration at all in food service. We'll start that later this year. Between food service, convenience stores, export, and industrial sales, which is to other manufacturers who will use our product as a component, our business could very, very easily more than double. So we see ourselves in a couple of years, a goal of 200 to 300 million in sales, earning at least 20% EBITDA. Our gross margin today is around 36%. That should go up to close to 40 as we have better plant utilization, which is very attractive for the industry, and a 20% EBITDA is extremely attractive. So based upon recent valuations, if we get to our goal, and of course that's a goal, it's not a projection, you're talking about the company earning 40 to 60 million EBITDA, and at these type valuations, pretty high. We'll have about 36 million diluted shares with warrants. So if you're talking 40 to 60 million dollars, that's a lot per share. In fact, it's more per share than the price of stock today, which is about $1.10, I believe.
Carl, to recap, what's the main takeaway for investors? Why should they own your stock today?
We're growing very rapidly. We're in the right segment of the supermarket. It's what consumers want. The margins are excellent. And we have, a tremendous ultimate capital value of several $100 million, whereas today our value is around 30 million.
Thank you, Carl. We look forward to hearing more from you and MamaMancini's in the future.
Thank you.
Now, to get more information about MamaMancini's, visit RedChip.com. While you're there, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. You'll get updates about emerging growth companies, and also on the website, research reports, fact sheets, press releases, and more. It's all free. Sign up today. Now, the final interview today is with Jerry Canellis. He's the CEO of Immuron. Let's go to the interview. We're here with Jerry Canellis, CEO of Immuron. Jerry, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me again.
Jerry, Immuron is developing and commercializing oral immunotherapies for the treatment of gut-mediated diseases. Let's start with an overview of your platform and what makes it unique.
Yeah, sure. Our technology platform is based, as you said, on oral immunoglobulins derived from engineered hyperimmune bovine colostrum. This technology is like human intravenous immunoglobulins, which are derived from human plasma, and are products which generate about $16 billion in revenue in the US alone. The major difference between the two technologies is that we have the capability of producing highly specific immunoglobulins to any pathogenic bacteria, and our products are orally active. The bovine IgG that we use can withstand the acidic environment of the stomach and is resistant to proteolysis by the digestive enzymes found in the GI tract.
Jerry, Wall Street analysts cover your stock with a high buy rating. What's the essential value proposition? Why should investors take interest in Immuron today?
Well, Immuron is a clinical stage biopharmaceutical company targeting inflammatory-mediated and infectious diseases with our oral immunoglobulin therapeutics. We have a validated technology platform with a registered asset which is generating growing revenue, And we have 2 lead clinical assets in phase 2 development for the treatment of fatty liver disease and Clostridium difficile infection. Fatty liver disease is forecast to be a $40 billion market opportunity for anyone playing in that space in the year 2020, and there's no therapeutic approved at the moment to tackle that particular disease. Clostridium difficile infection is also one of the hospital superbugs, and that's forecast to be a $1.5 billion business in the year 2020 as well. And they're the 2 arenas we currently are playing in.
While most small biopharma companies are pre-revenue, Immuron complements its larger development work with a revenue-generating product that treats traveler's diarrhea. Jerry, what can you tell us about this product, its sales, and what's the expected growth?
Yeah, sure. Travelan is our first product that we've taken to market. It is a listed medicine in Australia and in Canada, and we're fortunate enough to be able to sell the product into the US as a dietary supplement. The label claim is a preventative to traveller's diarrhea, and we're enjoying about $1.4 million worth of revenue last financial year, and we're seeing 20% growth in Australia, and the product is significantly selling in the US, particularly focused on the travellers' medical clinics.
Thank you. With multiple clinical trials underway, there will be several milestones investors can be looking for. Can you give us an overview of that timeline?
Yeah, sure. Currently, we have 4 phase 2 trials ongoing. 3 of our trials are focused on fatty liver. The company is sponsoring a program in NASH. We also have a pediatric non-alcoholic fatty liver disease study, and also a study targeting alcoholic steatohepatitis. And we've just recently initiated a trial on Clostridium difficile infection. Our NASH program is headed by Dr. Arun Sanyal from the University of Virginia. The study has recruited 133 NASH biopsy-positive patients. The last patient attended his last scheduled visit in October, and all 25 clinical sites are now closed. The database is locked and is undergoing quality review, and we anticipate reporting our top-line results in Q1 2018. We also have 2 NIH-funded studies. Dr. Miriam Voss from the Emory University is the lead principal investigator of our pediatric non-alcoholic fatty liver disease study. The study has recruited 10 of the targeted 40 patients, and we expect top-line results for this study to be reported in Q4 2018. Dr. Arun Sanyal is also a lead principal investigator for our alcoholic steatohepatitis study, and the study has recruited 40 out of the 66 targeted patients, and we anticipate seeing results reported in Q1 2019 for that program. We have also initiated, as I mentioned earlier, a clinical study focusing on Clostridium difficile infection. We're currently recruiting and targeting 60 patients for that particular project, and we hope to see top-line results reporting in Q4 2018.
How big is the market need for the products you have in development?
Well, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis and fatty liver disease in particular is forecast by analysts to be a $40 billion market in the year 2020. Currently, there is no medical product approved to treat the disease, so there is a huge unmet medical need. Clostridium difficile infections is also forecast to be a $1.5 billion marketplace in 2020 as well, and they're the 2 key clinical areas the company has focused its attention on.
Now, to recap, what's the main takeaway for investors? Why should they own your stock today?
Well, we are considerably undervalued as a biotechnology company playing in the fatty liver space and also the Clostridium difficile infection space. If you look at our peers, they have market capitalizations of over $200 million to $1 billion. And currently, the company is its market cap is less than $20 million. With the reporting milestones that I've covered for the next 12 to 18 months, there is a significant upside in owning Immuron stock today.
Jerry, thanks for being on the show. We look forward to hearing more from you and Immuron in the near future.
Thanks for your time, guys.
Now, to get more information about Immuron Ltd, visit RedChip.com. While you're there, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. You'll get updates about emerging growth companies. Also on the website, research reports, fact sheets, press releases, and much more. It's all free. Sign up today. Now let's recap what companies we met with. First, we met with Sorrento Therapeutics, stock symbol SRNE on the NASDAQ. Sorrento has a rich development pipeline, and their work with CAR T-cell programs could become blockbusters. Multiple big milestones on the horizon in 2018. Any positive news from its various trials could send the stock significantly higher. Then we met with MamaMancini's, stock symbol MMMB on the OTCQB. Their sales are up more than 60% in the most recent quarter, net income up more than 150%. They've proven their products could gain market traction in the highly competitive grocery space. With aggressive expansion underway, growth should continue well into 2018 and beyond. And finally, Immuron, stock symbol IMRN on the NASDAQ. Immuron is expected to report results from its phase 2 trial in NASH in the coming weeks. Multiple Wall Street analysts are covering the stock with buy ratings and price targets as high as $15 per share. Trading near $5 right now, this could be a big winner for investors in 2018. Now, for more information about any of these companies, visit RedChip.com. While you're there, subscribe to our free weekly newsletter. You'll get updates about emerging growth companies, and also on the website, research reports, fact sheets, press releases, and more. It's all free. Sign up today. Before investing in companies on the show, do your research forwards and backwards, and remember, these stocks are for your speculative money. Gains can be significant, but you must also be prepared for the downside. Small cap stocks are volatile in nature. You can read our full disclosures at RedChip.com. Do your due diligence, and as always, thanks for being with me. I'll see you same time next week.